OK, very soon after the election, we were led to believe that the government was going to ban smoking in outdoor places such as pub gardens, but also parks and sports grounds. This was the firm briefing, and indeed the Prime Minister himself then confirmed he was indeed considering measures to prevent what he said were 80,000 preventable deaths from smoking every year in the UK.
Yes, we are going to take decisions in this space. More details will be revealed, but this is a preventable series of deaths, and we've got to take the action to reduce the burden on the NHS and reduce the burden on the taxpayer.
Now The Guardian reports the government is unlikely to go ahead with the outdoor smoking ban in its forthcoming tobacco and vapes bill. It says Downing Street's new Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, isn't keen on the idea. He's obviously become very powerful after Sue Gray was given the heave-ho. He says, or one source I should say, says it's an unserious policy. Unserious. Nobody really believes smoking outdoors is a major health problem. That's from a Downing Street official. Number 10 is refusing to comment on the report that it will drop the plan, which could have applied to vaping and shisha pipes as well as tobacco cigarettes. So are you hoping for an outdoor ban on smoking, or are you delighted that it looks like it's not going to happen now? Email vine@bbc.co.uk with your number. Text us 88291 and you can WhatsApp us on the long number, which is 08000 288 291. Let us speak to Rosie Millard, journalist who wants this to go ahead, and Albie Amankona, broadcaster, Conservative commentator. Albie, you welcome the rethink.
I'm absolutely thrilled about it, Jeremy. I remember when I heard about this measure potentially coming in, and I was totally outraged. Smoking in a pub garden with a nice glass of rosé in the summer is one of the most fun things I do all year. I'm a social smoker. I don't smoke all of the time. Your producer rang me up and said, Albie, I think you might be a social smoker. I don't know what gave him that impression. Maybe it's because I'm effortlessly cool. But no, it's really fun to have a cigarette in a pub garden. And people who smoke know that it's bad for you. People who drink know that it's bad for you. And I think the concern is that if you're going to start banning things because it's unhealthy, where does that lead?
Yeah, but there's a thing. There's a difference between what happens. Think about the person sitting near you, Albie. If you're eating pizzas are unhealthy, but there's no such thing as being a passive pizza eater. But there is with smoking, isn't there? Because then a child 10 yards away has to breathe it in.
But you could argue that if you see someone eating a pizza or a burger, that might make you more likely to want to buy a pizza or a burger. True. So you might as well ban all unhealthy things. If that is the path you want to go down, just say you want to ban all unhealthy things and ban fun. I don't think this is what the British people want. And I appreciate people make the argument about how much smoking costs, the NHS and all of this. When I was buying my packet of cigarettes that I'm going to socially smoke in a pub garden this weekend, I spent £17 on them. They probably cost about £2 to make and sell. So that means the lion's share of the £17 that I spent on this overpriced packet of cigarettes is going to the Exchequer. And I am almost certain that the amount of money tax that smokers pays for their healthcare in the long term.
All right, leaving that to one side, we may come back to that. But Rosie Millard, the bigger point here is you can't just ban it because it's bad for you.
Thanks, Jeremy. It's absolutely ludicrous argument there hoisted by Albie. I mean, mate, smoking isn't fun. Dying of lung cancer is really not fun. And 80,000 people die every year in the UK from a disease which is entirely preventable. Lung cancer from cigarette smokes, and there are and heart disease and all sorts of other things, evils and health disasters which come with smoking. The fact is, there is no such thing as social smoking. You will die from smoking. If you socially smoke, then you smoke a bit more. You smoke a bit more. It's a progressive thing, and we all know it is. And to pretend it's a fun thing is an irresponsible thing to say on national radio. I'm afraid.
The same thing about drinking alcohol, Rosie.
No,
liver cirrhosis isn't fun either. What's the difference?
Yes, I agree. There is a difference. I think that drinking you can do in moderation, and I think you can do, and I think it's proven that you can do that. And there are other social benefits from drinking. There are no social benefits from smoking.
Rosie, I haven't heard this argument before, but Albie's making the point that you can control your nicotine addiction and you can smoke in moderation.
I don't think you can.
There's
heard
no
that.
healthy level of
I've never
smoking.
heard that.
And Albie, there is no healthy level of smoking.
Physician, and he has never said that.
There's no healthy level of drinking.
That's
Alcohol,
not true.
Ethanol,
Yes, there is.
Ethanol, the compound, is poisonous to the human body in the same way that a lot of the compounds in cigarette smokers. I know lots of people like to say there's a healthy level of drinking, but that is coming from the alcoholic drinks lobby, just like you would argue the argument I'm making is on behalf of the nicotine, on behalf of the tobacco lobby.
I think that the just moving the argument on slightly, I think the argument that the Labour government is having, saying there's economic harm in stopping smoking in pubs. They haven't said this about outside hospitals, in playgrounds and outside schools. I think that you have to look at the economic harm from sickness caused by smoking, where people aren't able to go to work, are fundamentally disabled, and causing a huge burden on the state. And Albie, for you to suggest that the amount you pay in tax is actually funding the health service, that is a hoary old argument. I've heard that argument for 40 years, and it's bunkum. I'm sorry that it is.
You mean smokers take more out than they put in? Is that right,
Yes,
Rosie?
they do.
Okay,
yes,
I didn't know that.
Yes, they do.
But I think it's very difficult to tell Albie not to make certain choices about his own activities, smoking in moderation. I thought the argument
Smoke at home, mate.
Okay, right. Albie, what about that instead? Rather than social smoking, you find a closed room at home, you close the doors, and you smoke there with the TV on if you must.
Well, I just think that's such a bad attitude to have about your fellow citizens. There are plenty of people who do things I don't like. I don't tell them to go and do those things at home. The simple fact of the matter... The simple fact... Well, then stop driving. I don't drive, I cycle. Do you drive, Rosie? That's polluting. That's like me saying, because I cycle and I don't drive, because I don't like pollution, everyone should stop driving.
No,
I think
driving is dangerous for other reasons. I mean, that is quite a good argument,
I think driving is dangerous. I think driving is dangerous.
When you get in a car, you increase the risk of a child dying. Okay, you don't own one.
I know. But my husband does. So
right.
So would you ban everyone from driving?
I have driven a car. No, because I think driving is an important life skill, and I think that in some situations driving is critical. But I don't think it's I don't think it's essential if you live in London.
That's a good point, Albie. You don't ride around on a cigarette.
Look, the simple fact of the matter is, if someone is offended because they're sitting outside and someone is smoking near them, they can always go and sit inside. I think to say to someone who is in a pub garden, don't smoke out in the open, in the fresh air, because I am offended by it, I would never impose my way of life on other people. You can go and sit indoors if you don't want to be near a smoker in the summer. This is in the summer.
Albie,
this is a problem, not in the winter when it's raining and people outside as smokers.
Albie, it's really dirty, and it makes your clothes stink, and it makes your breath stink.
He doesn't mind that.
It also pollutes other people. It's not a fun thing. It really isn't.
But Rosie, the Downing Street official who briefed on this, you won't like what they said. They said there's absolutely no health element to this because, by implication, because passive smoking happens in enclosed areas, not in gardens.
Okay, why are they stopping it outside hospitals then?
Well, I suppose you've got clusters of people there, some of them on drips.
Why are they stopping it outside playgrounds? Why are they stopping it outside schools?
Yeah, okay, fair point. Listen, we've got a score draw there. Thank you so much for coming in on a Friday.
No, I think I won. I
know you do. And Albie thinks he did.
I think I actually did win.
He's already lighting up, Rosie, okay?
Yeah.
Rosie Millard, journalist, and Albie Amankona, broadcaster and Conservative commentator.